Ever feel like everyone is shouting about politics, but you just want to tune out? You scroll past the news, you skip the debates, and yet you feel a guilt. That guilt is the problem. It tells you that you are uninformed or even lazy. But what if I told you that avoiding the noise is actually a survival mechanism? In this video, we uncover why your brain chooses peace over the political madness today. The common narrative says if you don't engage, you don't care about your future world. People assume that disengagement is a character flaw or some sign of hidden cognitive laziness. But that is a complete lie. It is actually a very high level of awareness. Most political content isn't designed to inform you, it is designed to trigger your rage. Think about it. When did a news headline ever make you feel calm or capable? It usually makes you feel helpless. It makes you feel like the world is ending. Your brain hates helplessness. It wants to solve problems, not just watch them happen live. So by tuning out, you aren't ignoring your duties. You are protecting your mental bandwidth. This is a form of self-defense against a system that feeds on your emotional energy. Let's look at the science of attention. You have a finite amount of focus daily. If you spend it on arguments you can't influence, you have nothing left for yourself. Most people get stuck in a loop of doom scrolling, trying to make sense of madness. They think that by watching more, they gain more control. That is totally backwards thinking. Control actually comes from doing work in your own life, not in the public square. Ever noticed how the loudest people on the internet seem the most miserable in person? It is because their identity is tied to things they can never actually change today. When you detach, you reclaim your personality. You aren't just a cog in their machine. Now let's talk about the social tax of being an observer rather than a participant. Friends might look at you funny when you don't know the latest political hot take. They expect you to pick a side, to wear a jersey, to join the cheering. Refusing to pick a side is the ultimate power move in a polarized society, right? Because if you don't align, you can actually think for yourself about every single issue. Most people are just reciting talking points they heard from their favorite digital echo chamber. You, on the other hand, are free to change your mind based on new evidence. This is what I call the observer advantage. You see the patterns, not the noise. You notice that both sides often use the same tricks to keep people fearful daily. If you're finding this perspective helpful, hit that like button to keep this message growing. It helps us reach others who are also tired of the non-stop political circus shows. Back to the point. Why do some people just thrive by ignoring the political theater? It is because they realize the game is rigged to benefit those who divide the crowd. When you realize you're being played, the natural response is to stop playing the game. But wait, some will say that not voting is a form of betrayal to society. But is it a betrayal to refuse to vote for options that you truly despise? That is the trap. They make you feel guilty for having standards for your own vote. Ignoring the noise allows you to focus on the things you actually have power over, like your family, your health, your local community, and your own personal skill set growth. When you improve yourself, you actually improve society in a way that politics never could. That is a radical act of defiance against a culture that wants you stressed out. Think of the energy you save by not arguing with strangers on the internet daily. That energy can be used to build a business, learn a language, or fix a fence. Most political junkies have very little to show for their thousands of hours of debate. They have more stress, more anger, and less time for the things that actually matter. So keep your head down and build your own world. It is the only real path. The people who run the show want you distracted, angry, and divided at all times. When you refuse to engage in the division, you become invisible to their tactics today. Being invisible is a superpower. You can move freely while others are stuck in mud. It is not about being ignorant. It is about choosing where to place your limited attention. You are the curator of your own reality. Why let the media decide what matters? Take back your focus. Take back your life. The world will keep turning without you. You might think this is just about ignoring news, but it's deeper than that, totally. It is about shifting your locus of control from external events to your internal actions. When you focus internally, you become unshakable. You become a rock in a storm. This is what the establishment fears most. A person who is content without their validation. They can't sell you anything if you don't need their news to feel in the loop. So be the person who works quietly while others shout into the void of the internet. The world needs more builders and fewer commentators. Be the one who actually fixes things. If you have realized that your piece is worth more than their drama, leave a comment. Tell me one thing you've started doing since you stopped following the daily news cycle. Let's build a community of people who prioritize their own mental health and real impact. Because at the end of the day, your life is the only story that matters here. Don't let them edit your script. Keep the pen in your own hand every single day. It is a brave thing to walk your own path in a world demanding conformity. Stay focused, stay calm, and keep building. Your future self will thank you for this. You're not missing out on anything. You're gaining your life back, one day at a time. Thanks for listening. See you in the next one where we keep keeping it real.